I am Robin. Well, when I first started making videos in early February about the coronavirus epidemic in China, and I was warning the rest of the world of what was to come. And one of the reasons why I was so interested in talking about it was because it was obvious to me that this thing was really big, and I was seeing how the government was trying to suppress the information. The communist regime in China. I was seeing how they were trying to suppress the information about that epidemic. I've seen them arrest doctors like Dr. Li Wenyang and the other doctors. They've arrested. Because I used to, I would look around on the internet. I would see these videos from smuggled out of China from citizen journalists, and these citizen journalists, after one or two videos, they would end up disappearing and getting arrested, and there were mass arrests of Chinese citizens who provided information about what was going on in Wuhan. So to me, it was obvious that there was something that they were covering up. And I was warning the rest of the world. There's something really bad that might come out of China that they are covering up, and do not believe a single word that is being told to you by the communist regime. They are lying. And then I've seen how the World Health Organization got into the picture, and how they were dealing with that. And I said, this organization, this Tedros guy, he's completely corrupt. They are putting your lives in danger. Do not believe a single word they're saying. They're downplaying this. They're covering up for the communist regime in China. Be warned, prepared. But no one really believed me at that time. And at that time, during my first videos, there was, I think, only one case out of China. Only one case of coronavirus outside of China. But of course, nobody cared about what I was saying. This subject was not even in the mainstream news like it is today. And now we're seeing the results. But I still want to point out that had China been transparent about this, had China been a normal country and not a communist regime where information is suppressed, then we could have avoided probably like 95% of what we are seeing in the world today. And now, this morning, as of today, we have more than 190,000 people dead as a result outside of China. And it's estimated that in China, they've had at least 500,000 people dead already. But of course, you're not seeing that in the numbers because the Communist Party in China is suppressing any information about this. But don't be misled. Thousands of people are dying every day in China right now. They have thousands upon thousands of new cases, and the epidemic is spreading in other parts of China, and it's moving around. So again, do not believe a single word that comes out of a communist regime, because these are lies, and now we have the end result of these lies. Killed. They have killed 190,000 people outside of their country. So yes, there needs to be retribution. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but you know, you will realize that they have been lying all along, and they are still lying today. Okay, so I will let you give you some videos, and of course, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon.
Inside the head of the Chinese Communist Party, what's the play behind covering up, disappearing scientists, delaying letting the world know, denying on the back end even all the evidence is against you? What are the communists trying to do?
avoid blame. You know, the nice thing about an authoritarian regime is you can do things like make a city disappear. They more or less disappeared Wuhan for a while. They shut it down, they ran people away, and what they did was use their authoritarian, totalitarian powers to shut down media, shut down any ability to report, and they tried to hide it, hoping it would go away. Unfortunately for the world, it didn't. And now it's time to hold them and the global organizations like the WHO that helped them, that colluded to hide that from the world, hold them accountable in some sort of either tribunal.
Yeah, I think it's obvious to a lot of people right now is that the World Health Organization has been complicit with the communist regime in China since the beginning of this epidemic.
Internal documents show the infected cases in Harbin City may be 200 times the official number. Residents there are concerned the situation has been seriously concealed in China's northernmost province.
And now the epidemic has moved to Harbin City in northern China. But there are still epidemics in Wuhan and in other cities. The communist regime just isn't reporting on them. But they are there, and the deaths are there too.
The epidemic in northernmost China, Heilongjiang province, has worsened. New cases of CCP virus keep appearing throughout the province. Authorities say they're preparing more than 4,000 hospital beds. Neighborhood community staff members in Heilongjiang's capital urging residents to stay home, saying asymptomatic infections had been found.
Everyone, please send this notice to residents. Asymptomatic cases are scarier. Don't go out. Stay at home. Seniors, don't gather in the yard anymore.
Official reports said the cases were imported from overseas, but residents said it's just an excuse.
Now, even if they're local infections, they will say they're imported, because saying they are local cases is saying they don't have the epidemic under control.
One city resident saying there are infections in neighboring cities too.
Our epidemic is quite serious, and there are new cases in Wuchang City. The community is still on lockdown. You have to wear a mask when you go out, and you have to scan your health code when you enter the community. There are also limits on when you can leave the community, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Deng told us on April 9th that a week before, her community had discovered more cases of virus infection while scanning people's temperatures.
Yes, don't be fooled by the numbers that are being given by the communist regime in China. There are thousands of deaths every day, and they have thousands of new cases. They are not in control of this, and it's not over. It's just beginning, basically. So, because you've probably noticed, just like everyone else, at some point in March, the communist regime stopped reporting their deaths.
Have you heard about the concept of the big lie? The big lie is a propaganda technique often linked to Hitler. The idea is very simple. If your lie is big enough, people might actually believe it. And if you repeat a lie often enough, people end up buying it. Do you know who's trying to use the concept now? China. In a bid to control the narrative, China is spreading lies and spending money on messaging. The coronavirus outbreak is the biggest challenge the communist regime has faced. China's pro-development image has taken a beating. China's donation diplomacy has backfired. China's lies and supplies have few takers now. So Beijing has launched a PR campaign. It is spending big money to buy good press. On Gravitas tonight, we will expose China's coronavirus propaganda. It's a two-pronged plan, really. It is designed for the digital age. First, use state media outlets to push positive stories. And second, use popular social media websites to push that content. Pay for ads on social media websites. Get more views. China's state-owned media is the vehicle for this propaganda campaign.
Yeah, and they've been investing a lot in propaganda and positive stories. But the reality on the ground, according to residents in China, it's really not what you're seeing in these propaganda videos.
Officially, 3,300 people died in China, but as the death toll in country after country has exceeded that of the epicenter, those government figures don't appear to stack up. Liu Pian lost his father in February. He's been warned not to question the numbers, but is driven by grief to risk speaking out.
Basically, what he's saying is that he says that there are like at least 10 times more cases in Wuhan, 10 times more deaths than what has been reported, and that's it's a very realistic
From behind the barricades,
assessment.
a new guarded way of life is forming in Wuhan. This is a city trying to move on from a disaster, the true extent of which the government is accused of trying to cover up. This is the hospital where an ER doctor raised the alarm back in December last year.
The Chinese government has gone from ignoring and silencing doctors here at the first hospital to warn of a new coronavirus to censoring research which could help the rest of the world understand and control a pandemic. All scientific studies into the COVID-19 outbreak must now be government approved before publication.
Excuse me, does anybody really believe this number? Does anybody really believe this number?
I put China on there so you could see how basically unrealistic this could be. When highly developed healthcare delivery systems of the United Kingdom and France and Belgium and Italy and Spain with extraordinary doctors and nurses and equipment have case fatality rates in the 20s up to 45, and Belgium is extraordinarily competent healthcare delivery system, and then China at 0.33. You realize that these numbers, even then this includes the doubled number out of Wuhan. I wanted to show
also the number for Iran. Does anybody really believe that number? You see what's going on over there. Does anybody, you put that slide back if you would. Does anybody believe this number? Does anybody believe this number?
Yeah, I guess the United States aren't fooled anymore. I mean, and it's obvious when you look at it. China both lied about the number of cases, and they are both lying about the number of deaths. I mean, I've been following this since the very beginning, and it was obvious that China was lying all the time about everything. You know, I think most countries are realizing this now, but they are way too late. They should have seen that coming at the very beginning, and it was obvious that the World Health Organization was covering up for them.